Alright guys, so today we're going to be resuming our backtest from last week. So yeah, so you guys wanted to cover some weeks with some news, and it looks like we have some news. So 11th, so we don't have any Monday news. The 12th, so Tuesday we have news, 8:30. Looks pretty loaded. Uh, and I guess this is Thursday. And then Friday we have 10 a.m. news, so we got some news. So let's go to the daily chart and see what we really have here. So what can we expect coming into the week? It's a bit weird, but we could potentially see lows. We have all these lows. So I would want, if this is going to be a bearish week, this is where you set if-then scenarios. You see this asset over here is more so in an opposing candle. This one's really deep in the range. And this one, the weakest asset, has actually the strongest close, which is interesting. So the asset over here has the strongest close when it should be weaker. So like if there's gonna be a bearish week, I want it to. So let's click at that weekly candle. Yeah, I want it to be bearish early on in the week, because if this is gonna be a reversal from this high, we should expand early on in the week. Does that make sense to everyone? So let's see, the open we get. So we're gonna set invalidation. We go to the 4-hour. What do we have here? Oh shit! It looked like it gapped up. Is that the open? Oh, that's so ass. Yeah, we have this disgusting gap up. So that kind of ruins almost everything for us here. So. But if it didn't do that nasty stuff, we'd be expecting, maybe something like this, open high. This can be our invalidation point, like this gap or this high or something like that. But obviously that can't happen anymore because of this huge gap up. So we don't have any news. So this is typically when you're just going to skip to 9:30. I want you guys to just stop trading before 8:30. If there's no 8:30 news, go straight to 9:30. All right. This is the easiest way to trade. So how do you do? Oh yeah. So I think this is it. So 9:30, yeah. So this should go straight to 9:30. Bet. So now we're just seeing how the daily kind of formed overnight throughout the session. So at this point, it's pretty obvious that, YM wants to go to this high. Look how close we are to this high over here. So that's that daily high. This asset already took it out. Let's look at the signatures. All right, this does not look that, guys. Does this look like a reversal to you guys over here? We're gonna kind of keep this a little interactive. Does this look like a reversal? This SMT. What do you guys think? Yeah, probably not, right? Leaving failure swings very, sluggish and whatnot. So, I mean, this actually looks perfect right now. I would really be one-sided bullish right now. I would not trade bearish. We've already taken out a swing low. No SMT. We've already taken out a swing low that could be our invalidation point. So I'd ideally want to see all assets right now expand higher. That's what you would want to see at this point in time with 9:30 coming in. So you can see that this asset over here is the strongest asset, being YM, because we have a divergence down here, and this is the only asset that has a CSD right here. So it's really important. A lot of times the reaction at the opening price is going to tell you how and what you need to be demanding. So if all assets expand right now, then all assets will probably hit this high. But if we kind of bullshit, it just depends. So we're going to see, and we'll walk through it. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, yeah, this is actually a great example of what I'm talking about. So I've shown you guys seen this. I think this happened this week, where assets are displacing in opposite direction. So typically, all that means is they're desynced, basically, right? They're decoupled. So you never want to trade this middle asset here. All right, when they're decoupled, assets are decoupled. What we're waiting for is a manipulation to resync the markets. So whether that is, and this is kind of what we're pointing towards, ideally, I want to see this asset stay strong while this asset finds strength to go higher. That's what you want to see. But if this asset's going to go lower, you're going to see the opposite. All right, so this is going to be very important to, what happens here. So let's go on my 3-minute. So I ideally also want to see this hold here. So this is very important. What we're gonna be. Okay, so this is fine right now. What we're seeing bullishness, but I don't want to see this one go too much further. Yeah. Okay, this is not great. Okay, so now what you're seeing is let me see. Hold on. Let me zoom out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now what you're seeing is a strength switch. So this is not very good at this point. So you're seeing a strength at the highs. That generally means that YM is also going to go to the low. you see that strength switch, guys, around here? So let me just play price. We have not CSD'd. Oh yeah, we actually have over here. That's fine. What about this 4-hour candle? Okay, so this 4-hour candle, we probably just want to wait. But I honestly think I don't like this reaction yet. I would be giving it a little bit more time. Okay, this is where if we're gonna hold, this needs to hold. All right. Now this asset over here, very important what happens over here. If it goes lower, then it's gonna I've seen this many times. This asset over here, YM, is definitely gonna hit. I think it's gonna hit these lows, and this could be even a skip day because, you know, when 930 fails to reverse like this, this is typically when, you know, we're not gonna see anything happen here. So like we had the original CSD, right? You have this CSD here, right? But we're not having a expansion through it, and this asset over here is pretty much holding that SMT that we're talking about, like whatever SMT is here. So this is really a day that like you can totally skip, but I honestly think that this asset over here, YM. So if I go over here, 30-minute close. What time is it? Hold on. It's not a closure yet. C2. Yeah, I mean, it's technically not a close, but I know it's gonna go here probably. So it's something you would take. So it would look something like this more than likely. But it's a little bit more kind of discretion based because if I got the 4-hour wick, it's pretty large. There's no closure on the 30-minute, so we're kind of gonna skip it, but it's probably gonna go down there if I had to assume. Yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah, that's fine, but we won't take that. We'll just let that go because I kind of want to keep it more mechanical, but you guys see me take stuff like that all the time, but it's a bit more discretionary. But so this is a bit weird day because I don't think it's gonna go here. So this is about a little bit about profiling. When you're like, it's kind of like yesterday, or what day was it? Yeah, it's kind of like yesterday where YM is expanding, right? But there's nothing to target in close proximity. It's just like EQ of a range. Here's like the same thing. Like I'm still bullish. It's just a Monday, right? It's bullshitting. I'm like in the middle of range where like we're not gonna get down here in the same day. It's just not gonna happen. So there's only one thing to do, and that's to go higher. But at this point, it's like 930 kind of failed. The only objective we have here is like this asset, you know, breaking the SMT. So like, we would need to have like a 10 a.m. reversal essentially, which is like right now actually. This is the only thing to happen, but this is a little bit lower probability in my opinion. So we need to see some sort of, you know, actually willingness to trade away here really. So let's wait for a closure. That's the first step, right? Because we have the 10 a.m. open, right? Now we need a closure to confirm the 10 a.m. low essentially. Okay, this is very interesting. Hold on. Let's see this. So NQ is showing some nice strength at this point. So if this forms like an SMT here with this previous candle's low, or if we just, let me see the lower time frame signature. What do you have here? SMT. Kind of looks kind of gross, I'm not going to lie. Okay. I'm gonna let it play out a little bit, but if this is gonna be the reversal, guys, like it's gonna be around here, somewhere around here. It needs to happen around here. So really, you can set your value. It's just the lower time frame kind of looks gross to me, so I'm gonna let it play out a little bit. This to me is not very good. I know we have an SMT here though, but I need to see like a propulsion block. All right, that's what we're gonna wait for essentially. But like this CSD here, this like needs to be the low. If it's not the low, we're just gonna skip the day, guys. All right, bet. So it is going. This is good. It's coming back very deep though. I don't like that. Okay, so this is great actually. If we can get a close here, then I will take this. But on what asset here? I don't want to skip it. Hold on. Okay, so boom. Y'all see this SMT? So this is really good. Y'all see this SMT, how it's spaced out? So you see how this asset just like the low? And look how far away from that low we are. This is a really good sign. So really you can long either of these assets. Let me go to the lower time frame, high time frame, see which asset's truly stronger. So if we actually look here, intraday, you can obviously view that I would probably want to trade ES potentially because we did take out this high over here. or in Q I would probably take, but in Q's max TP. This is where like we're just gonna have to like see how it plays out really. But I'm gonna go to lower time frame again. Okay, hold on. Is that a technically? Oh yeah, this is something you could take actually. Bar play to here. So you see the CSD guys? You can take this CSD. Why? Because on the other asset being YM, we actually took out this low. So we are actually seeing that ES is the stronger asset. Y'all see the CSD here? So let me go to the 30-minute, right? So this is where you can treat this candle here that you're seeing, right? So let's mark out this opening price as a C2 closure because in Q did put in a C2 closure, as you see, right? In Q did put in that C2 closure right here, right? So and we're also CSDing first over here. Now it's like you can't really go wrong which asset to trade here, but since this one did CSD first, you can take this one. So again, I don't know how to set limit orders. I think I might. Someone told me I can't have anything there, so I'm just gonna try this limit order. Would that be right here, or do you like do it like this? Oh, okay, that's how I do it. Bet. So we'll try that. Max TP would be, I don't honestly have no idea if we're gonna go up here. To be honest, it really depends on the other assets that can react. But this is like your one shot for the day, guys. Like this is gonna be it. If you don't reverse here, like look at YM. It doesn't reverse here, we're cooked. By the way, did I even get filled on this, boys? See, I don't know how to do this, man. Let me just try this then. Let me try this fill. Did I buy it? Okay. Maybe I did it there. We're not gonna get filled here, are we? Okay, damn, dude. How do I go back? What the fuck, man? Come on, dude. That's so ass. Okay, whatever. Let me just remove that. Whatever. We would have got filled here, but who cares? I don't know how to do this stuff, man. We'll see what happens, though. Whoops. Holy moly, boys. Alright. This is looking good, though. All assets are reversing. This is what you want to see. NQ is making that deepest retracement. So notice how we have an SMT here. Y'all see that? We have an SMT here, which you do have a strength switch here, but again, this is a failure swing, like all these failure swings, so I'm not really viewing that as a true reversal, I wouldn't think. Going down to the hourly chart, we have a hourly C2 as well. So that 4-hour wick, we would assume to be put in, and this would just be your tracement. So you see how we expand away from the low of that wick, or the low of the 10M candle. You have an opposing candle at 30-minute. So I would want to see some resistance around here. It's like this opposing candle, right? You could potentially enter if you really wanted to. Okay. Honestly, I'm entering this. I think that in Q or YM over here is realigning bullish. And this is something that I haven't really talked to you guys too much about. It's where we obviously know that YM over here would be like the strongest asset just because that gap higher, right? And it'll like become weaker, like a strength switch to happen. And then after the strength switch happens, it like realigns bullish again, or like as the strongest asset again. That's what you're seeing here, right? Where this asset over here, we put in this SMT. It's a strength switch in general because you have an SMT here. This asset's creating lower lows, while over here we're actually creating higher highs. So here it is right here. So regardless, we can trade this asset here. I don't want to miss this, so I'm just going to market execute. I'm pretty confident in this case. So where do I put my stop loss? Like right here, right? Yep. So we have the 3-minute close here, guys, by the way. That 3-minute close. Remember, we're trading the hourly fractal model, essentially. We're expecting that 10 AM to be put in. Where can we TP? This is where I'm going to go back on 30-minute. I want to see how the other assets react. So whether that's they all start to expand, and then I can TP when all assets hit the objective. Another person had a question on this, but we'll see how this plays out. Let me go to 3-minute. Okay, this is looking great. Yeah. Okay, so we can maybe TP at this high. I don't know yet, though. This wick size is huge though, so that's another concern. I mean, you could probably go break even as well if you really wanted to. All right, so yeah, NQ is really struggling right now. NQ struggling. ES is like doing all right here. ES also took out this high. I would probably TP here. It's just a Monday, and not TP here totally, but we can, you know, whatever you call it, hold some runners. How the hell do I partial now? Oh, we'll close the majority of it, and then final TP can be like the current day high, but I don't have like full conviction we're going there, unless I see the, oh my goodness, man, unless I see the reaction around here. If the reaction is like really nice, where we like displace through it, then we should be chilling, honestly. We're kind of just bullshitting. Actually, this looks decent, potentially. You see how much stronger this asset is than these assets over here? So like, pretend you're like in NQ or something. You would have to TP. If you're in NQ at this point, you have to TP and YM hits this high if it does. Because there's so, this asset's just not showing any strength, right? What time is there now? 1400? Yeah, it's gonna get there probably. There's enough time in the day. At least I would think it could, at least. Okay, it does. Yeah, and this is where the market's gonna cap off the daily range more than likely. This is a really ugly day, but does that make sense to everyone? This day, it's a pretty yeah, ass day, but pretty advanced, honestly. Like I could have taken, I'm telling you, I probably would have taken this in real life. This trade right here, right? This trade right here, I would have taken, but I want to keep it like mechanical for you guys. So this essentially was just a 10 AM reversal, right? And with profiling in general, right, we know that's not going to go down here. There's only one area to go, and that's either to trade back into the range or just like consolidate. That's the only thing they can do. So when you put an SMT here and that strength switch and all assets are expanding away, then it tells you it's an actual reversal. So we'll go to the next day, guys. You guys ready to go next day or not? Alright. Alright, mates. So we have news this day, right? This next day is going to be 12th. Yeah, we have 8:30 news, so let's not skip that. Let's not skip that. So I have to adjust this real quick. 8:30. Bet. Alright, let's go to 8:30. So with this close here, though, I'm thinking that NQ can actually catch up, right? So NQ can definitely catch up this high, especially if this asset does not reverse here. So we're going to have to see overnight. Let's go to, oh yeah, skip to next day here. Okay. It's looking pretty good where the weekly's opening low first, right? The expansion away from weekly open is creating gaps from the previous day's range. So we could potentially trade into that. Now the current day's low is right here. So we actually might revisit that shit. We already did. We already did on NQ over here. Yeah, so we have a divergence with the current day's low. Do we create a reversal though to go higher? So this is a bit weird. Yeah, this looks pretty gross. I would want the driver to go and manipulate all these lows, right? I don't view these lows as a reversal just yet. Yeah. So they go and manipulate the lows, they break that SMT, which is not like the most relevant SMT of all time. But the daily candle here, it's still looking okay. It's still looking okay. Yeah, this is nice. I just saw this. Okay, look. So check this out over here, where YM still has this high to draw into. NQ and ES, or at least ES over here, is kind of just in the mid, at the height of expansion. So this looks pretty good for longs, but we need to have some sort of like we need basically this to reverse, and we're probably not going to be able to trade this candle here mechanically because the wick size is quite large. Okay, yeah, this is just fucked, huh? Yeah, you obviously cannot take this. Look at the wick size. Even if you're going to trade this, you can't take it because of that large wick. So we kind of just have to let this go, unfortunately. And I already hit our objective right here, the intraday high. We still have these daily highs to draw into potentially, especially on NQ, have the high. So this is where we just wait for 930 probably. So let's skip to 930. Maybe that provides us an entry. 930, 930. I don't like this deep retracement back in here though. That's not really something I like to see, guys. So 930 is coming up here. All right, so 930 here. All right, so I would want, ideally, I don't want this low to get revisited, ideally. But we did just take an objective, so I still think, I don't like this close above this, or back into this range high. So we're not really seeing any like strength switching going on. We're not seeing that NQ is like turning stronger to catch up to these assets being ES and YM, which is not good. At least if you want to trade NQ to catch up. Because on these assets, there's nothing to draw into. So I'd rather see that NQ turn stronger to trade into something, right? So 830, I mean, there's only one thing. If you want to take a position entry, like, it's not looking very good. Like, we're coming really deep back in this range. The only asset that has a CSD is going to be this one. But again, I don't really like it too much. Just because, again, we're not really trading into anything, right? We've already taken out objective, so I don't know about this day. I think I'm just going to wait a little bit. This is one of those days where it's like, kind of seems ass. But we'll see what 930 does. So if we're going to be bullish from here, 930 needs to expand away. Ideally, I don't want to see it come lower. I don't really want to short this either because the profile is a bit weird, right? We open, where is it at? The open is like around here. Like, it's just like seek and destroy almost. So yeah, this profile is kind of like seek and destroy. So I don't really like this, honestly. We'll see what price does here. So yeah, this is going to go here. Like, again, I don't want to see this if we're going to be bullish. So I honestly think NQ is just going to go take out this low, this data low. So if you want to take a scalp there, like, you could do that, honestly. So it gets there, right? Let me zoom out a little bit here. So we're definitely going to need to wait for... I don't want to short this, though, man. The wick size on ES is huge. Maybe NQ takes out this low, the previous low, and creates a divergence, like, potentially. But yeah, like, this 30-minute low could be an SMT2. I just need to see the closure here. I just need more. I gotta see more, bro. Okay, yeah, this is looking decent, actually. Oh, this is looking nice. Low-key not bad. So check this out. The opening price. Where's that opening price? It's right here. So here's the daily open. As you see, it's more like a seek and destroy day. So what are we doing? We're at the external range again. So just one of those days where it just takes out highs and lows. Not something I really want to trade, but this is looking all right. Where clearly this asset is a failure to manipulate. So why is this asset a failure to manipulate of this high that we're seeing? Well, look how far we're coming back to this high. So just like I would not want to see this deep retracement, like I said, because we're coming really deep back to this low, right? So when it does that, it's probably going to take out the low. So when it takes out the low, we have an SMT here. So when I go back, we have a 4-hour close here. So think of it like this. Think of it like a delayed protraction profile, essentially, where the weekly is opening low, expanding away, and then we immediately open high first for the day, and then we're coming back lower. Think of this as like a new, just creating a new low of day, basically. It's a bit ugly how it forms. This is not ideal. But we're also pairing this with 830, or sorry, 930, I mean. 930 manipulation, potentially. So we have the V shape on all assets. This is what I really like to see as well. There's only one place to go here, and that's up at this point, in my opinion. It's just one of those days. It's like, it's going to be hard to navigate, but we'll see what we get. We'll just play price around here. This is going to be pretty important. So look at these equal highs here. I know we're at least going to get to, some of these highs up here potentially. So these gaps basically are around the opening price of this 10 a.m. candle. You see this 10 a.m. open is right here. So go in lower time frame. What do we have around that area? These 3-minute gaps, right? So these ideally want to hold price. So why do we want to see these upper gaps hold? Is because after a true reversal like this and we expand away, expansion, we don't want to see these deep retracements. Just like we saw over here, we had this reversal. I don't want to see this deep retracement back in the range. I don't really want to see that ideally, right? So same thing over here, right? We had this manipulation. I don't want to see this deep retracement. So ideally these gaps hold, Maybe get an SMT within one of the gaps or something. That would be ideal, right? Because there's no swing low, and that's exactly what we're getting actually right now. So this is a form of strength switching, right? Because you have the NQ is weaker. Now it's putting a stronger divergence here. So this could be nice, right? Potentially if we get a decent close here. I'm gonna try not to skip too much. Okay. So you see that NQ, it's like you could potentially trust this. I don't really like these too much, but I think this could be the 10 AM low. I think I'll just take it. Potentially you could take an ES2 if you really wanted to as well. This is kind of like a better opposing candle, but you see how this candle's bullish, this one's bearish. This is showing like relative strength. So if your stop loss is not SMT, it's still fine. So I don't know how to set limits, guys, so I'm just gonna mark it here. And since all assets, guys, are reversing, see all assets are reversing at this point, you can't really go too wrong with the asset that you're gonna trade. Like you can't go like too wrong, to be honest. So I think I'm gonna take NQ though, because it's the lagging assets, right? And now it's showing relative strength to potentially catch up. So this is our draw on liquidity, by the way. It's this high that we hit yesterday. Where is that? Like yesterday, we failed to manipulate. We also did the same thing over here on YM. So this is what we're coming into the day already thinking that I want to trade NQ to catch up because these assets over here are already like super high in the range. So that's what we have here. This is gonna be our only chance probably to get in, to be honest, for the day if you're gonna long this. So your stop loss goes here. Your TP goes up here, right? Your stop loss is on an SMT low. That 10 AM wick, we expect this to hold, right? So we have a 6 AM New York reversal paired with 930. And look over here on these assets, right? They close above this opposing candle. So ideally, you want to see the upper half of that opposing candle, be respected. So it just makes sense where like these assets also shouldn't be going lower, right? Because they failed to manipulate. So this should be the draw. So I think we're going to go higher at this point, so let's just play price. Okay, this is good. You could probably even go break even at this point if you really wanted to. Hold on. No, we don't have any SMT. I was just checking. Yeah, this is going to hit, guys, because all assets are reversing. Yeah, this is going to hit. These assets over here failed to manipulate this high, meaning we're probably going to go and catch up this high. Very, very confident on this, like extremely confident. Now, when you get here, though, this is where it can get, you need to stop trading, right? So you don't want to ever be longing up here. If I go to the daily candle, look at it. It's huge. This is probably actually where we cap off this daily range, actually. Probably, if I had to assume, these ranges are already huge, right? And then we just broke that SMT. So remember what happens when you break SMT. This is where we could get a retracement. Now, I don't think this is going to be a high probable trade. I'm just saying it could probably cap off the daily range. That's all I'm saying. So this is where you can expect a retracement or something. Will we take it? Probably not. Okay, this is a strength switch, yeah. We actually will take this. So check this strength switch out, guys. So we know that YM was the strongest. Now what is it doing? Putting in a divergence here. So ideally, you want to take, so if I go to the 4-hour time frame, hold on, what time is it? Yeah, this is going to be heavily fading. We're not going to take it mechanically. Never mind, we're not going to take it. But let's just see if a retracement happens here because I'm almost positive it will. Pretty sure at least. Probably will. Into this gap or something. Like, it's just a scalp. You'd be fading that candle though. Yeah. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be extremely hard to get down here. So this is a very low probable trade. It's going to be extremely hard to get down here because of how the candle formed, right? Open high, open low, open high. To get all the way back down here, extremely hard. So I don't know where it's going to form this reversal, or I don't know if the daily candle is going to close here, or maybe you can go higher again. But I wouldn't trade this higher. But I can anticipate this happening for sure. But yeah, we'll just see what happens here. I doubt it gets down there. That'd be crazy. Yeah, probably just stalls out right here. I don't think it makes a new high. Maybe it does. Probably it is. Okay, damn. Yeah, but I wouldn't trade this move just because the daily range is pretty extended. So I can't really anticipate that being too much of a high probable trade, but I can anticipate this being like decent, It's just fading that 4-hour candle, so it's like one of those things that's like pretty discretionary. think we're good here. So let's go to Wednesday. Do we have any news? Let's see. Wednesday is the 13th. No, we don't. So this is a day we're just going to skip to 9:30. Let's go back here. 9:30. So this is a bit weird. This week in general is a bit weird now because there's nothing to target to the left. So I hate this shit. So if we're going to be bullish, guys, it needs to be something like either like the previous high or like session highs, like something like that. There needs to be something to target. I'm never going to long like the current high of day at all-time highs. Like you never want to do that. I'd probably be more interested in shorts. I mean, look at the current week low right now, actually. It's pretty sus. It's just like Monday's low, like equal lows over here. We just broke this SMT, so this asset just hit something. We'll see though. With this close though, it's gonna close near the highs, so we need to reverse off of the previous high probably. Since there's nothing to the left to reverse from, it has to be from the previous high, right? More than likely. So I don't know why I'm skipping this. Let's just go to the current day. All right, so there's no SMT with the previous high, so we really see that NQ is already looks like it's reversing. Let's look at the structure in here. Okay. All right, so this is one of those decoupled markets, guys, again, because you have this asset going lower, this one going higher, and this asset, remember that middle asset, never trade the middle asset. Look at it. It's going to be fighting for its life. So when you have like the weakest asset versus the strongest asset, they're expanding in opposite directions. Never ever trade this asset here. You can really potentially, you want to trade like these assets either individually, but majority of the time, a manipulation or a strength switch will be the cause for resync, right? So either this manipulation here can see price go lower to resync with this asset, and that's when this asset will trade away, or something like this, where maybe one of these assets hit something. I don't really know what there's only this low, honestly, to target. So like something like this, right? And maybe it fails to manipulate or something, and then this asset will catch up, or just like a strength switch in general to either side. But I don't think I want to long here, honestly. But yeah, 9:30 is going to tell us. So 9:30 is opening right now, so ideally, this is my ideal situation. This asset just goes lower. This asset also goes lower because it's already at a high. I don't care about this asset. I'm not going to trade it, probably. But yeah, we just need to see here. But if they just start expanding in opposite directions, this is a really low probable scenario where, like, I mean, the only thing to target would be like this low. This is like extremely far away. I don't think we get here in this the same day. It's not like it happened. Yeah, I'd be pretty one-sided bearish, I think, at this point. You have the SMT here. It's just YM is just, you can't really use SMT to YM at this point. So if you want to be bearish, this needs to, hold on, let me go to 30-minute here. Yeah, like we're already in a key level, guys, on this asset. We're already in a key level here. So ideally, it just expands away. You know, I want to see this asset expand away, being in Q, ideally. So you have that 30-minute closure here. You have the key level, so you could take a, this is really risky, but you could take a position entry. I probably won't do that since they're not correlated, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so it's expanding away. We're just not going to get a fill, I would assume. Okay, this asset's starting to expand away. So again, I need to see this asset like close through though. That'd be ideal. Maybe this asset starts to consolidate with while this one expands. We'll just have to see. So we're gonna get close through here. This is so weird. This asset just took out this low, right? So it just broke that SMT. This is where we could have some issues here, potentially. Okay, if you get this close through, potentially you can maybe assume that this asset could go lower, maybe, but I just don't think, you guys already know, I don't like shorting this low on the range. Like, yeah, it's expanding and whatnot, but I don't really see too much opportunity. I really don't. Yeah, okay, this is what I mean, guys. Like, this one's just expanding while this one's going lower. So I really think this asset's not going to keep going, and I also think that this asset can't go here. So it's a bit weird right now. So this asset just hit this low, which is creating a divergence here, right? So now this is where things are going to happen. This is where it's going to tell you like probably what's going to happen. So we're probably waiting. I'm just waiting for a strength switch over here to get to these lows, but probably ideally, which is not happening right now, as you can see. It's just expand. It can't expand forever though. That's the thing. And this asset is not resyncing higher. All right, so let's go to 30-minute. Again, nothing's really going on here. So 10 a.m. just opened. Again, this wick size is not ideal, right? It's not ideal, so I don't think there's nothing to trade here, man. This is setting up good framework for tomorrow, though. We have that reversal potentially on this asset. Depending on the close here, like we could still reverse on this asset, but it's just not going to be very pretty. So, what do we have here? Yeah. I'm just waiting for like some SMT, but we're not really getting it, or any like sort of strength switching here. Nothing like that. This asset just consolidating. We're not going to trade this asset, guys. Why? Because it's already expanded enough into these objectives. I don't short this low on a range. I'm just waiting for them to be correlated again, but might not happen, honestly. Okay, so we could maybe see like in Q go higher right now a little bit, but just because this divergence here. No, it's still struggling. Okay, hold on. Hold up. This could be our chance right here. This is a swing point. Yep. This is what I was waiting for, guys. So maybe this asset hits a key level here. I'm just waiting. Okay, boom. Okay, that broke. Damn. I was hoping this SMT held over here, man. Okay, it's doing it again. This is exactly what I'm waiting for. So you have SMT here. Prices in a gap on NQ. So this is where if YM is going to go lower, it needs to go lower now because of that strength switch. That's all you're waiting for essentially. This asset's in a key level. Okay, I really like this what do you call it? This signature on the weakest asset here. Look how that V shape. That's what I like to see. So if we get like I'm not gonna enter yet just because it's a little bit riskier. I'm gonna wait for all assets to start expanding away and ideally a propulsion block over here. If we get that propulsion block, I'll be a lot more interested. So again, we're getting another SMT here. Look at that spaced out SMT. This is what I like to see. This asset's taking a high. Remember, it's in a key level, right? It's not gonna go up here. We already know this asset can't go up here. That's the thing. This asset cannot go up here. Because why? Because of the open high, the expansion away from the opening price. So it's going to find resistance ideally around here, right? And this asset over here, we can maybe trade back into the range. Because again, it also opened low first and expanded higher. They're expanding opposite direction. So, and this is at all-time highs. So I think it just makes sense to go back a little bit lower. This is the opening price of the new 4-hour candle, I think. Oh, nice. Yeah. This is the opening price of the new 4-hour candle. So this is actually GXT right now. So as you see, 1300 is a reversal candle. We have the strength switch as well. You can just see it with the candle size. I don't care about this asset. This is bullshitting because of the decoupled markets. This asset's in a around equilibrium. It's not in equilibrium, but it's in a key level to potentially go lower, right? We can see resistance on this asset. So this asset's already at the high of the range, showing that weakness. Then it could potentially, retrace back in the range. So this is why I want to see. I'm just waiting for like a propulsion block or something. I don't know. We have to see what time frame we're gonna get it on. So first CST we get. All right, there it is. I'm gonna take. So y'all see the CST here? I'm taking this right here. I'm pretty comfortable taking this. Stop loss on an SMT. That strength switch that we always demand ideally. And for targets, we could do a couple things. So this is where you use other markets because I don't think that this asset will get here. It's just not likely because of the wick size. That's very hard to anticipate. What I can anticipate is that either ES or NQ get to this low, right? That's what I can anticipate. So I can TPYM when NQ and ES hit these lows, okay? Now, we never know, bro. The market can do whatever the hell it wants. It could go down here, but that's not something I'm going to anticipate. I don't have to anticipate that. So unless we get stopped out, hey, this is our one chance to go lower. This is the type of day that just, since markets are decoupled, you have to really wait for certain things to happen. This is looking very good. All right, this is looking really good. So around 2R, what is this right now? Just EQ the range in general, I'd probably start TPing. So 2R is like right here. So we'll take like some off there when we get there. Holy shit. What the hell was that? Is that earnings? Okay, we got lucky there. Damn. Well, obviously I would shut the whole thing off there. But I would not be, I probably would not have held the whole thing, right? Because I think we might have hit 2R. I'm not really sure before. Okay, it got really close. Y'all get what I mean. You would take a partial run here around EQ, okay? So you probably wouldn't be holding the full thing here, but that worked out very nice for you, right? That was crazy. So, but yeah, hopefully y'all understand like navigating through, like when you have decoupled markets, there's only two things that can happen. Either a manipulation is going to sort out that resync or create the resync, or just a strength switch to catch up, right? That's literally it. So that's what we were just waiting for, right? And you see the SMT with the previous 4-hour candle as well. Well, this asset's in premium of a range. This one is in, right, discount of a range. Or just, you know, in EQ of range, basically. And that's that space out SMT that you're talking about. And that is decoupling, but that's an advanced day for sure. Like, that's a really advanced day. And these are days that really used to confuse me when I didn't know this type of stuff. So hopefully that helped you guys out. But this is looking very good. This framework, to me, very, very one-sided to go lower now, I would assume. Specifically on, like, NQ, because of it's just closer to these lows. So what day is next Thursday? I think we had 8:30 news. Let's go. 8:30 news. 14th. Yep. So we have retail sales. Bet. So let's not skip that. So we already have a one-sided narrative. So now we can set in validations, right? So I also want to, like, let's just skip to the end of the day, because this is how you set in validations, by the way. You can already anticipate where price should reverse, maybe. All right, so here's the daily close right here. First off, let's go to 8:30. I'm not going to skip to it right now. I just want to put that in so I don't forget. All right, so at this point, honestly, this asset's kind of looking sus. Where it's like maybe it comes up here and sweep these highs out and creates an SMT with NQ. You can already tell, like, right, we're just a lot closer to these highs, a lot far away from these highs. So maybe either asset could do that, but really, like, NQ could maybe sweep out this high. Maybe find support from this fair value gap. Now, if it's going to find support in this fair value gap, you already know that Asia or London would be high of the day, right? You would just know that naturally, but we'll see what happens here. But yeah, ideally, to set an idea here, this kind of like manipulation here down here is a bit sus. Like, and we're just, these failure swings, we could come with these highs. So I'm thinking maybe an SMT at the previous high, potentially one of these assets could do that. Or we just sweep out this high on NQ. Or we do something shit like this. And then create divergence here, which would be a strength switch. Or like right here, I mean. Right, that would be a strength switch this way. That could also happen, but you know, those are just some scenarios. Just wanted to show you guys that, but let's go into this next day here. All right, so it looks like we do sweep up these highs, obviously, right? So if we've already swept up the highs, then what should happen, right? 8:30 should do what? We're already in this area of interest. We haven't really expanded. So if you look at this asset here, we have that broken SMT thing. This is kind of fire. I think this is good. Could potentially work. So you see how if I mark out this high on ES, which is the 1300 high, it would actually be this high. Notice how ES failed to manipulate the high a long time ago. So when YM breaks it, this is where we could potentially reverse. Now you're seeing a strength switch right now because ES was stronger, but look at the previous candle's close. Look at that 7 o'clock close. It's bearish when it should be bullish because it's stronger. Now over here it's bullish to catch up to that and break that. And obviously we see this weaker asset is just kind of just bullshitting. Honestly, this P over here looks kind of gross. I I would just want to see it expand away. Maybe it does go higher, but I don't think there's anything to like take as far as positional entry. The lower time frame is just a little bit ugly. The framework is good to anticipate lower, but not this lower time frame PA. I don't think there's just nothing too clean. Does that make sense to everyone? Like the logic to go lower makes sense right now, but not the PA. So this is what I mean. But like some of you guys are taking like these lower time frame stuff where it's just like what is there to take here in lower time frame? There's nothing too much. There's no bulky opposing candles. So just wait. Just wait for that driver to pass. If we look at the profile, extremely one-sided. Oh, this is extremely one-sided. It's opening high first. Like I'm bearish as hell right now. So let's just let it play out though. Yeah, damn. But this is what I mean. Like you can't really take anything in here. Look at it, just wicks you out. So now you have a two-stage SMT here. So if we even get a freaking entry, dude, that sucks. Can I go the 1 minute here? You might have to take some 1 minute shit, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so I would actually take this. This would be fine. So since all assets are reversing right now, yeah, I think they're all gonna get to these lows. So honestly, you can take any asset, but the only asset that's giving you an opportunity right now would be this one over here. It would be, what is this over here? Let me look at the 4-hour wick. The 4-hour wick is fine, honestly. So this one is bearish. This one's bearish. This one's like, it's not as large of a wick, but we're trading within a news event. And the high of it is protected by SMT. The drivers are all expanding away. So this is typically where like, there's no reason to come higher because we've manipulated. Obviously, there's no reason to go higher. So you could take this weaker asset. You're just taking the if you wait for these other assets, like look how far it is in the range. You're taking a very big risk there to get missed on this opportunity. So I'm gonna take YM here. I'm gonna put my stop loss around here, around like upper half of this wick, or just at these bodies, just up here. I probably don't have to put up here. It's probably not gonna go up there. I could get wicked out last time, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, I don't want to enter like way down here. Ideally, I really don't want to do that. Damn, I do get stopped out again. Is it gonna take that out? Oh, it does. Damn. Okay, well, shit. We might just form an SMT here and get an opportunity, like this. So while this asset's in a gap, you might get that. I really didn't think that it would go here, but it looks like we just broke this SMT. So this is once an SMT here at these lows. So when it does that, it just prints a pullback. That sucks, but we'll see if we get this opportunity here. Okay, it's looking really good though to go lower again. Go to the 5 minutes close or something. But yeah, you can take this on ES. So look at this close on ES. Take this on ES. This is looking very, very, very good, guys. Because look at this asset over here. Remember the asset it just created the higher high. Look how it's reversing and actually CSDing before NQ. So, unfortunately we got stopped out there, but I think we're fine. I think we can TP. Whoops, what the fuck? I think we TP at this previous low. Is that the previous low? I think so. Or to start to partial when the weakest asset being NQ gets there. All right, so 930 is coming up here, or it's actually pretty far away. I think we're good here though, guys. So look here, 930 is taking out this high. And look at YM right now. It's not even close to this high. It has no respect. So what are they doing? They're expanding opposite directions. So this SMT, a manipulation, should be the cause for resync. So if you get this CSD here on one of these assets being NQ, then you could typically take it. Now, if I go to 1 minute, like I could take this right now if I really want. I'm just gonna do it just to show you guys. What about 15-minute entry? I could take it. No, I just won't. I don't want to confuse you guys, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna go down here, probably. Yeah, isn't that crazy? But yeah, you get missed regardless. But yeah, man, you could just take that on the 1 minute, honestly. But yeah, guys, it's gonna go here, and I don't think where's the current week's low? Current week's low is actually down here. Let me look at that wick size. If the wick size supports expansion, then we can actually maybe target down here. I could maybe, let's kind of far, man. This is where it's like, damn, I don't really know how far it's going to go. We'll take a partial here, bro. We'll take a partial here and then leave a runner. I do think that's our draw on liquidity, though. So, and it has some momentum, so that's why it has like this a lot of momentum. So I think it could potentially go there. I just don't know. But if we are going to like stall out, it would be around here. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a relevant low. You see how these, prices just extremely far away. If we're gonna cap off the daily range, it would be around here. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something you just have to TP there. It's just too relevant of a level. But we could go down here. If you reverse here, I would just, that'd be crazy, honestly. That'd be really stupid. All right, we are in a gap right now. This is where you do not want to be taking positions down here. This is where a lot of people go wrong. Do not be taking positions down here where the daily already expanded into something relevant. I just would not be doing that. Even though it might go lower, but look how it delivers. We're just consolidating right now. Not very clean. Yeah, price is bullshitting. Look at this strength switch though, guys. Wait, never mind, I'm tripping. Is that a fair value? No. No, that's not a strength switch. I'm geeking. Yeah, no, I'm tripping. Damn, is it gonna get there? Holy shit, dude. Alright, we're just gonna close our position here, guys. So it did not get there, and if we're being real, if you're gonna trade profit rooms, you have to close, at like before, the day ends. So, but this sets a really good narrative for the next day, guys, for Friday. So, looks like we did get through the whole session here. I mean, Friday we have what? News? Any news Friday? So the next day would be the 15th of March. 15th of March, we have 10 a.m. news. So this is where I'm just gonna go straight to, more than likely, 8:30, or sorry, 9:30. So just to remind you guys, what was that? That was just a 6 a.m. reversal, essentially. At least on ES. ES is 6 a.m. reversal. Over here is YM reversal at that relevant high. And we're using asset synchronization, right? S&Ps. We did take a loss, but that's fine. I honestly didn't think it was going to go down there. Back to this high over here. It is kind of the strongest asset, but, that's something that I would be willing to take around the driver. So it is what it is. But, yeah, for the next day, what can we expect? If I go to the daily chart, we did not reach these objectives, so look at these current week's lows. They're kind of sus, right? So ES or NQ, this middle chart here could definitely reach there. Now ES or YM could potentially as well, but they're a little bit farther away, so we're really gonna be focusing on this asset being NQ to get there. So when I look over here, it's like, what can we trade away from? We can maybe open high into all these failure swings, especially ES. ES is really close to those highs. So like this would need to be, this is a very clear invalidation point. This gap right here, if the previous day reversed and expanded, then the gap from the previous day or all these highs should reverse price. So that's what I would be expecting. Bam. Perfect, right? That's just something that's very anticipatable. But it looks like it already expanded overnight, so that sucks. We're not going to get opportunities here, guys. Probably. Unless. So we just hit this low on NQ and ES. Sorry, not NQ. Or not NQ and ES. We hit this low on ES. Sorry, NQ. Holy shit. I can't talk. So if this asset over here fails to manipulate it, then like maybe we can actually come here. So why can we actually anticipate the lagging asset to get here? Maybe. Is because of this momentum. You see this momentum? That's why you can potentially do it. If I go to the wick size, the wick size is still small. This is when you can actually anticipate potentially that lagging assets can get to objectives. But we're just going to have a key level being hit, because right now we are not in a key level, obviously. We're just in expansion. So you have to have a swing point to be trading into mechanically. So that's what we're waiting for. So look how NQ is failing to manipulate this low. That's good. But we need to retrace into a gap or some shit, ideally. So we're seeing that ES is trading into a gap, creating a divergence. So ideally, we actually reverse here, you know? Ideally, you actually reverse from this gap. There's nowhere else to reverse from. Let's go to the 4-hour candle. Ideally, this forms the 4-hour candle essentially, right? And look at NQ over here. So look at YM, you form a divergence here. NQ didn't reverse from it. ES didn't reverse from it. So that means YM should catch up. Also, we expect that ES should also catch up to just that low down there. So now we just look at the lower time frame signatures and whichever one is like stronger, I'm just gonna take probably. So it looks like this asset's the strongest over here, clearly, right? This little CSD here. Let's wait for a propulsion block. But this is our one chance to go lower, by the way, guys. I don't want to see it go higher. All right, we're getting a nice little CSD here. So check out this. You have an SMT fill here. So this is even fractal, guys. So notice how we have an SMT up here. Boom, SMT up here. All assets are expanding away. That expansion creates gaps behind. And then we have SMT with the gaps. This opposing candle form the SMT with the gap. So essentially you can enter here on NQ, right? Put your stop loss above the SMT high, right? Which is protected. Look at this displacement away from that SMT on this asset over here as well. Looks very nice, right? Now targets, what is this, like 2R? Is this low or what? This is a Friday, so I wouldn't be anticipating too much. But these little fractals in price, man, you can get 2R out of like all day, right? With the right intentions. So that we already know that NQ failed to manipulate. So that's our context. We have the daily, we have the weekly candle opening high first. We have the daily candle. All of them are expanding. All of them have momentum. So we're creating SMT with a gap. We are assuming that the wick of that 4-hour candle is already put in. We have the high of the 10 a.m. wick is formed from a fractal model, SMT. Now I go to the lower time frame. This 30-minute high right here is now formed from SMT as well. So that's all I can do. I can trust this, and I just repeat the model, right? So either we get stopped out here. It's not looking too great, honestly. Okay, looks fine though. Looks fine actually. These assets are expanding away, so we should be fine here. This is where you can actually like trim your stop loss. So you can now put it to here. No reason to go up higher than that. So we're revisiting our entry. So at this point, you can move it to here now. Because we should not be doing this. There's no way it's going to do this, bro. I mean, there is a way. I mean, obviously it could. But a lot of times, it's not going to do that in a true reversal. It should just expand. Now you have an order block basically protecting your entry at this point. Just checking the other assets if they hit the low. They have not hit the low. They should all hit this low, yeah. See how they're all expanding? Like, that's what you want to see, right? So, did anyone understand that one? We only got an opportunity because of that momentum failing to reverse. And when I look at beyond this low, what do we have as well? The asset that failed to manipulate, we also have a reason to go lower. So I didn't really pay attention there, but that's something that's very logical to also see. But yeah, anyone, does that make sense to everyone? You can honestly TP there, honestly. You could have done that. That's my mistake. Wasn't really paying attention. That was a lot cleaner than last week, I'll tell you that. This weekly candle, I think the draws early week was very logical. And then we just formed a midweek reversal around Wednesday. Previous week high SMT. That makes sense to everyone? Same as Waplins. Wait, what? Bro, anything different on your YouTube? No, nothing different on my YouTube. Yeah, I gotta make a freaking YouTube video, bro. Yeah, this is tough stuff to learn a little bit. A lot more advanced, but if you're gonna trade every day, like, you have to have like these deep understandings of like this type of stuff, bro. Like, you just have to. If you're gonna trade every day, man, like, you don't have as much higher time frame context. You need more lower time frame context or more detailed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need a deeper understanding of invalidations, etc. Like I have to confirm price with between triads, SMTs, and stuff like that. Drivers, hidden SMT. It's not something I really use. I wouldn't really use it too much. Have a video on what? Asset sync? No, I do not. That's something that I've actually talked like last stream. I showed you guys some examples of that stuff. Asset resync. There's a couple ways you can use it, but it's just like you guys gotta understand like most people struggle with like basic GXT stuff. So when I like add all this other stuff, like it's only gonna confuse people, man. Cause it is hard, bro. Like trading in general is hard, you know. So like when you add all this stuff, it's like a different level. Like it's just like it genuinely takes time to first understand GXT. Like that can even be hard, you know. But when you actually like add all this other stuff on top of that, it's just a lot for people to handle, and especially when it's not in a course format. Like it's not in the course, so now it's even harder to learn because you can't even refer to it in a course. So it's like I have to first talk to AM&T if I could even add this stuff in the course, and then maybe we can like dive in or something, you know. Yeah, I want to add this stuff to the course. I'm down. I'm co- I'm considering adding YM. So use YM as like a as SMT, you know. Doesn't mean you have to trade it. When price already expanded prior to the driver, do you prefer to trade the retracement? Yeah, like if I already expanded to objectives, like I'm not gonna enter way low in the range. I'm like really strict on that, guys. Like you guys see me, I do not do that type of stuff because it's really hard to anticipate if it's just gonna keep expanding when there's like no close proximity draws on liquidity. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's like little stuff like that. I'm telling you that it's very important to understand. All these little filters and price, it's so hard to put in a course because every day looks different, you know. You can only make it so mechanical. That's why experience, um, I mean like it's the best teacher, right? There's only so much you can put in a course. Fuck yeah, B trades. Let's go, dude. Proud of you, bro. You've been grinding for a long time. That's fire. But yeah, guys, probably end it there. What are we sitting at, guys? Here took a loss, another loss this stream. 83% win rate. I don't even know how to check. I don't even know how to check stats. I don't even know. Oh, it's right here. But where's my average like RR? I don't know. Session results. Ah, here it is. Average R7. That's crazy. What the fuck? That's wild. Garrett, can you show me where are the old past streams? Oh, you gotta go in the WAP lessons. Yeah, WAP. So every stream that you see here is recorded and uploaded to WAP. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna at least end this recording.